Shout out to Hoops Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoops Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoops Jargon. Shout out to
Hoops Jargon.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon. Sorry, that's my voice, man. Let's get started, man. So thank y'all for taking time out y'all Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, depending on what part of the world you in. I'm over here in LA, so our time is a little backwards. But man, we got a good show for you. I'm gonna bring in. So one thing I want to do in this channel is bring in a lot of new people to the space, just like was helped with me. Shout out to DJ Ron Cut Truth, giving me that opportunity. So I'm gonna bring in a friend who's been part of Hoop Jargon, the actual group, for about 5, 6, 7 years now. And she has a very, you'll see, a very opinionated personality. She very funny, very witty, and she has a solid following on Instagram, and she's trying to get her weight up on the, the video world. So I'm gonna bring in, without further ado, that is Miss Holly Heat.
Hey, unfortunately, I can't see you. Your screen is black.
Uh-oh. Well, it's okay. We can rock with that. All right, so the comments are trickling in already, so shout out to DJ New Media Nation tuned in. My boy Cole on the sticks. What up? That's T-Cole. Yeah. And Marsha says, what's up?
Hey, Marsha.
The video.
Yeah, it's not just me.
Yeah, it started a little early, so can everybody see now? Are we on the same page? I see there are active people on here, so let's make sure we're doing this right.
Yeah.
All right, he said, hey, Holly. All right, anywho, Holly Heat. For those who don't know you, tell them what is Holly Heat all about? Who are you? What do you do?
Well, I call myself a sports enthusiast and a social media personality. I don't consider myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I definitely love sports. I love basketball probably the most. It's kind of in my bloodline. And yes, I am very opinionated, as you stated in that intro for me. But yeah, I have a project that I'm going to be hopefully launching sometime this year. Production is a lot more difficult for all the components I have for it. So it's a little more intensive than I anticipated. But yeah, as you said, I am trying to, hey, there you are. But I am trying to be more active, do more lives, video. I'm trying to be like you, Cliff.
Well, everybody can't be like me. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Well, no. So I appreciate it.
Brand shirt. Okay, still repping.
Man. Always, man. Always. They're actually still putting a lot of stuff out. They're still putting stuff out, but
okay.
People, it's a whole other video for the day. But no, But no, I appreciate you coming on because this YouTube space is very hard to tap into. It's hard to get people to watch your stuff consistently. So, appreciate that. Let's keep it rocking.
Yeah.
All right, let's start it off the right way. Before we get into the controversial part about the bubble, let's talk a little bit about where the NBA is now. And I remember off camera, you were telling me about something that Charles Barkley was saying about what's going on currently with the NBA. You want to open that? And guys in the chat, y'all want to ask questions, go ahead and do that. And we got you. But go ahead, though. What you saying with Charles Barkley?
Yeah, no, I think Charles Barkley and, Draymond Green was guests like filling in for like Kenny and Charles all week. And it was a really good point that they, with this different schedule and with, of course, the pandemic and everything, they don't have a regular season that they're able to, recuperate from. It's just, they finished what in December, or what they came back in December, but when did they finish before that? It doesn't give them that summer of recuperation. And Charles Barkley was just, basically saying, we already have a lot of injury prone guys, especially the older guys come, in the league right now. And when are we going to give these players a chance to, recuperate, to get their bodies back? Because honestly, I feel like it kind of is detracting from the game, as we've just seen with the Lakers. that, you have so many injuries, the matchup everybody wanted to see, in my opinion, was the Lakers and the Nets. And we've kind of been robbed of that. And it has a lot to do with injuries, I believe. So what are they going to do as far as getting the league back on track? I have confirmed that they will get it back on track, but I didn't get a plan of action.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's very true. A lot of people who follow the space that I do, they spoke about how like the rookies didn't really get a real, how can I say it, a preseason or like the summer league to really get them their legs up under themselves. And that's kind of was a thing why you saw a guy like Lamelo Ball not really get that time early. If you remember, he sat the bench for 20 games before he started. And now he's going to be the rookie of the year. So, so it threw – the point I'm making is it threw a whole bunch of the protocols that we normally have out of whack. And, of course, the injury bug thing. Shoot. It now, again, me being an ardent Lakers fan, I definitely wish we went further than what we have. I'm going to say this. I ain't so mad that we are. I find in LeBron James fans insufferable. But if we can take that part away from it, we were robbed from a strong playoff push, to potentially play the Nets, to potentially play the Clippers. Yeah. And so, and that does suck too. So, I definitely understand that. And so, like when the bubble ended, the start point was been in December. There wasn't a lot of recuperation time in the middle. And so I did think overall that did kind of take away from the product, man. So, like you're saying, I think they will rectify that. They have no choice. But I think we're going back into normalcy now as far as timelines and things of that nature. So I think it's going to naturally work itself out.
I'll be interested to see how they do it though. Because we're going to finish in July, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. And then are they going to make them come back and start doing preseason in end of September? October?
Well, I guess that's a good point. Well, Marshall just actually put a good point up. He was saying that players, he said he wouldn't want them starting to Christmas. And being an NBA fan my whole life, I wouldn't really care too much if that was the case. Because let's be real, we didn't really start watching the season until about Christmas time. So if they pushed it back to Christmas time, I wouldn't be upset.
But and I know we're going to touch on this when we talk about the bubble. It's going to be a shortened season. So we're playing December to July again. And then it's hard to see how it's just going to get back on track.
Well, they're going to have to start putting those more back to back. I know that was one of the things that they're trying to eliminate, but you got to have something. You can't just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's an easy solution, but like I said, I have been assured that they are supposed to get back on track. I think for the older players, the AD, Klay Thompson will be coming back off of injury, a lot of these players aren't going to have enough time. Not the older players, that the stars, the current stars, not the young players, but even LaMelo Ball, for instance, he was injured
twice. Yeah.
I just don't want to see this continuous cycle of injury and people not being able to recover. I think overall it's going to detract from the league.
Yeah, well, I think so a few things. I think that the league does a good job of detracting from itself. It's the NBA. Here's the thing, man. I think the NBA alienates potential people to watch it because they get so social. They get so. Here's the thing. People watch basketball for basketball. And I think last year was just a huge misstep with that Black Lives Matter stuff. So I won't go too far into that, but you got to keep sports about sports. One entity that never has any windfall at all, pitfall, the NFL. They leave it straight lace. They leave it for middle America. That's who wants to watch it. And the NBA going to have to just figure out what they want to do as far as the identity, where they're going to go. Because I feel like when you're all over the place, you don't really have a straightforward goal. And that's why the NBA as a product can't mess with the NFL. So I think there's inner sanctums of this too, that the NBA just have to figure out who they are and what they're going to do. Because, people recognize that. So meaning this, when you have a defined product, people are going to roll with it, whatever. And they're going to roll with it in a hard fashion because they miss it so much. Like the NFL. The NFL had to deal with COVID. This year, it didn't feel like a bubble year or whatever, a COVID year. You know what I'm saying? It felt like a regular football season. Besides that, Oh, except that getting injured, but
and unless you went to the games, and it was so boring. But yeah,
what's that?
I said unless you actually went to some of the games like I did, and they were so boring.
What, the NFL?
Yeah, but if you're watching it on TV like most people do, then yeah, I agree. They did.
It's fine for me.
Job of sort of making it feel like it wasn't a bubble or COVID season.
Yeah, it felt as natural as it possibly could be, and the NBA can get there. They just got to figure out, like, again, what they are, who they are. But I do want to back up. You said something interesting. You said you were confirmed, so you ain't got to release your sources. But Holly does have some insiders out there, so that's the plug right there, man.
Yeah. No, I did confirm, and the person was very short with their response. But not a player, but somebody in somebody more in the know about the decision-making processes. And he did confirm that they would be getting back on track. He said, of course. So, but I just don't see how it's going to be possible at this point.
Okay.
And talking about, I kind of disagree with you. I'm not talking about the whole Black Lives Matter and stuff. And I know you're saying like the NBA is kind of struggling. You think they're struggling with their identity, but I look at them as like an evolving league. To me, like a lot of people criticize, including LeBron James, about the play-in game. I actually like that. I think it kind of gives people something different. I get your point, but at the same time, I think with the NBA, especially how the playoffs had been, where the East had been so weak for so long and the West was just dominating, and it was like the Western Conference Finals were like basically the matchups you wanted to see. They were basically like the finals. I think the NBA just they are constantly trying to reinvent themselves, and I know you call it a struggle for identity, but to me it's kind of like an evolution.
Oh, and I appreciate that line of thought. I just look at like how any $1 billion business is. And being innovative is cool, but my thing is, if you're gonna be innovative, you gotta be like, innovation has to be your thing, a la Google, a la Apple. Like, that has to be your thing. It's just not like toe in the water, innovative, and then you trying to balance back out to a. So it's like, if that's your thing, do it all the way. Like that rock and jock b-ball, I love watching as a kid, the 25-point shot up there. But the adverse effect is you cheapen the product when you go so innovative. So I just think that the NBA, again, I'm for forward thinking to an extent. I just think when they go extreme like that, like I say, for the Black Lives Matter thing, I'm just like, no. Do what you're good at now. And like, to your point, the playing game, I don't hate it. I didn't too much care for it, but I think that you're trying to ruminate some of that NCAA spirit. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I didn't like it, but I could see why someone would like it. That's okay. Yeah. I'm not such a old head that I'm not realizing this. Tweaks can happen. Like, that's fine. Like the NFL, when they put the kicking line back to stop the injuries, forward, it sucks because it takes away the kickoff returns. But I mean, I can see the parallel what you're talking about. I was just more like league identity as far as like, with the I just think they need to stop focusing on this social aspect shit, because the players who care so much about that are like almost 2-3 years and they're done. Like your LeBrons of the world, your Chris Pauls of the world. You need to focus on the product, because the undercurrent is the product is not getting better. Like, these kids are coming in with this AAU ball stuff, and it's an eyesore, man. The famous play when they were down 2, I forget the team, and everybody ran to the 3-point line to win the game instead of cut to the basket for the winning layup. That's what basketball is now.
I remember, yes, and it was on ESPN like all week. I remember.
Like, oh my God, that's not good for basketball, man. And so that's the stuff I care about. So how are we gonna correct that level of basketball? And I play like a lot of NBA 2K, and I play like on rec. This is how these kids think basketball. This is how they think basketball now. And I'm just like, damn, this is like, I got to start getting used to this. Steph Curry started a whole nother thing, and that's all everybody think they are Curry, man. So what do you think about the new undercurrent of basketball? Let me say that.
I mean, I've never been a big. First of all, I'm not like a Steph Curry fan. I don't ever take anything away from anybody's level of talent. I really do not. But I don't like it. I mean, I'm not. It's not the exciting basketball that it's predictable. I think like it's super. And right now, my favorite player in the NBA since DWade is retired is Luka Doncic, and even he you know, is gonna pull the three more likely than not. You know, so and I do really like him, but for other reasons, it's not that reason. But yeah, it has completely taken over the league. Dame Lillard, like Steph Curry. I mean that, and what I'll be interested in, and I don't see it this way, but will we ever return to, you know, how basketball used to be? You know, how are we going to have post players? Are we going to have like that ever again? Right now, it doesn't seem like it. And I guess you're saying it's because of the AAU style basketball, which I know is either one way, you know, it's very polarizing, AAU basketball.
It is, man. And I've always hated it. Me being an AAU coach back in the day, I coached at Crossover Athletics in Southwest Houston. And I coached the 16U team. And I actually interviewed one of the kids I was working with, John Walker III. He plays at Texas Southern. He transferred from Texas A&M. Good kid, man. And I just remember seeing when his era, like, because he's like a little baby Giannis Antetokounmpo type of player. And I just remember when he was like allowed to bring the ball up all the time. At first, I didn't like it, but then I was like, damn, he the best option to bring it up. I started thinking that like it's nothing wrong with John being I think he's like 6'3" at the time. He's about 6'10" now, but he would just get it and just take it all up. And you gotta let a player like that who got that type of ability, like a Bam Adebayo, you gotta let them do their thing, you know. And it sucks. You gotta break the old school mentality that like, nah, the point guard break it up, which I prefer.
Yeah,
but this is 2013.
Another good point, because I was having a conversation with somebody and they were like listing the best point guards or something, and I'm like, they're not even point guards. And then I'm like, they're listed as forward, you know, like even LeBron, you know. LeBron plays point, like
James Harden,
and then Luka Doncic, like
yeah.
But there's so much intermingling of the positions now, and it's like, you know, I like the traditional point guard. I liked Rondo for a long time. I mean, he's older now, but like the traditional point guard. So it's just it's honestly kind of confusing, like. And I do I miss the old school, but I hate saying stuff like that since I do like the innovativeness of the NBA, and I don't like to dwell on the past. But
yeah, I'm the same way because you don't want to be an old head, man. Okay, yeah, no. So when you're an old head, you always think that the era that you saw is the best. Yeah. And nobody gives a shit about your era, man,
at all
when your era is past.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to take in, because if you're a person who enjoyed your era so much, you don't want to hear somebody dismiss it. But the reality is, when the old heads before us were talking about Dr. J, we didn't give a shit about Dr. J. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to understand that guys now don't care about young LeBron. They don't care about Kobe. They don't care about Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, it's the new guys are their guys. You know, so we got to always be cognizant of that as observers of the sport over a few decades, because whether we like it or not, it's going to be what it is. You know what I mean? And so, and I tell that to everybody in every facet of your life. You may not like it, but it is what it is. So I've learned to stop being such a hater of the new style, because whether I like it or not, that's what I'm going to watch when I watch basketball. So I better not be kicking and screaming and watch it from a standpoint of like just admiration of the era. If that makes sense.
I agree. Yeah. I do agree with that.
Because I love Chris Paul, man. Well, I like Chris Paul a lot. I gonna say I love him. I love what he is as a traditional point guard. So I understand I'm biased towards him, and like a Russell Westbrook, to me, no thank you. Great player. Great player. Great talent. But to me, Russell Westbrook, to me, is like a pitcher with just a fastball. That's all you got is a fastball.
Yeah.
You have no curveball. You got no off-speed stuff. Just, if I can't throw this 105 over the mound, I'm in trouble. Yeah. And so that's why I don't like a Russell Westbrook. He just doesn't have nuance to me. So, but the new age guys like Russ, man, and it is what it is. I don't care. It doesn't matter what I like. It just the NBA fan populace is what it is. But go ahead.
No, well, in regard to Russell Westbrook, and he was always kind of like my second, behind DWade. But it was funny watching it this year because when he left Houston, of course, first of all, if you're a Houston Rockets fan, anybody who's not doing good at the time is trash. Like, that's just how it is. That's just how they think. They're very fair weather.
Worst people in the world. Said worst people in the world.
Yeah, like seriously. Kind of like Atlanta fans. They're very fair weather fans. So, in all sports. And so I just found it crazy how it's like Russell Westbrook goes like getting all this like negative, leaving Houston after he, traded from Houston, like, and then he starts on this streak of like, his triple doubles and just like dominate, all this stuff. And he's getting all this praise. And now I think we're back in the point where it's like you say, like you'll leave him. I mean, I'm sure you weren't going back and forth with it, but a lot of people were.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna say this very affectionately to all my listeners, man. And appreciate y'all. Y'all doing good today. The average sports fan is slow. And by slow, I mean is you aren't needed to be satiated with like substance. You need candy. You need something that is give you the little quick high, and then you forget about what happened 2 weeks ago. That's what Russell Westbrook is, man. Like the antipathy of candy, empty carbs. But we like those kind of things.
Empty carbs, not empty carbs.
Like, because the same people who would bring up the triple doubles, they would totally omit this dude playoff performances. They would throw all the tangible shit out the window that we evaluate, top tier players. And in my mind, Russell Westbrook, I'm gonna say Russell Wilson. Speaking of simping, so what I was gonna say is Russell Westbrook, that's just the kind of, he is a talented guy. He is an upper tier player. I'm not one of them dudes to say you garbage because I don't like your game. Like James Harden, I hated his game playing for the Rockets, but at not one point did I ever call him garbage. Yeah. I'm just like, when it matters, he sucks. And because that way of playing is not going to work. And I say the same thing about Russell Westbrook. So when he goes over, I remember when the team was losing, everybody kept bringing the triple doubles. I'm like, he's the third worst in the East in the record. Like, what are we talking about right here? The East, third worst record in the East. You talking about? Well, he had a triple double. I'm like, what? Yeah. What? How, make that make sense, man? To quote Tommy Sotomayor, I don't want him coming from me, man. Tommy, you're an interesting dude. I'm gonna sit Kwame Brown on you, man. If he comes from my channel, but no. I gotta get Kwame on here, but that's been man. We can make a whole lot about that, but go ahead. So I hold high players to high standards, and I don't care if I get called a hater in the process, because if you say that person is elite, then guess what? I'm gonna hold you to elite standards, nothing less.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As much as I like Russell Westbrook, like the results aren't there, and I don't know what the answer is for him. Like, I don't know where to put him where it's gonna work.
You know what the answer is for Russell Westbrook? I'm not even gonna be funny. Less is more. You obviously the way you play does not work. And I say this classic example. When he played for the OKC Thunder and KD won the scoring title those 3 years in a row, he shot more shots than KD all 3 of them years. And then you as the point guard, you're supposed to get your guys going first and then you go. Especially playing in that era. This was 10 years ago. Yeah. Right. So you can't blame it on the current era. So that's just, and here's the problem. Russell Westbrook never played point guard until he stepped into the NBA. So he thinks like a two guard. So less is more. Yeah. So again, slow fans will look at the stat line like, oh, well, he did his job. But if you watch the game, you always see he take bad shots. He still take threes, which he cannot shoot. Yeah. No, those are not high level attributes as far as winning is concerned. And that's just my problem with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his core vision, his player IQ is not very high. He's just athletic and plays with a lot of energy. So, I mean, he's great, but I can realize him for who he is. I can separate. I can be objective, with that.
I can be objective. I'm just unapologetic. I'm not gonna give him points for like stuff that you give for a year 5 player, a year 6 player. Like
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Come on, Siri, what are you doing?
The help section in your Alexa app.
They gonna turn this. I wasn't Alexa. There we go. But no. So the reason why I do that to him is because he's capable of better. Like I don't hold you to the same standards of a year 5 player. Like say a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like now it'll get to the point where I'm gonna start being more critical of Giannis, but not right now. Russ is a 10-year plus veteran. Like again, and I see that the time you didn't spend learning the point guard skill, it shows. So I'm going to bring that up. I'm not going to just harp on every triple double you have when you're deficient in areas that are going to take you to that next level. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And
it is what it is.
And you bring up Giannis, and I made a video, or actually I was piggybacking off of like the subject that Colin Cowherd put out about who has the most improved this year, and in the playoffs. And, he listed like 5 different players, and then I gave my thoughts on them. And, a lot of people, aside from the ones that Colin Cowherd put out, which Giannis wasn't in there, a lot of people were saying Giannis, but I do feel like, he's still pretty young. So you still kind of have to give him a chance. I don't think that if he doesn't succeed this year that I'd be like, oh, nah, he's, not good. He won't ever get a ring.
Yeah, you got to factor age and tenure into the mix, because if you don't, you lose scope of like how people are generally evaluate over the course of history of the game. Just because they had a high profile, then some people just go into like crazy superstar mode, and that's fine. But when you gotta juxtapose it correctly with how history has kind of said where you need to be at a certain point in your career, and that's why when guys start approaching 30, I'm not messing around no more with how I break down what you're doing, or just how I am defining where your career is at that moment. Like it's the kid gloves off at that point. You cross about 27, 28. Now it's time to start taking a hard look at where your career is. Yeah. Because at about 33, you're gonna be on your way down.
Yeah, I mean? Of course.
So let's be real about
everybody can't be DWade and win in year 3.
Yeah, I mean DWade's a bad boy. You know how I feel.
I had to get that in there. I had people telling me, okay, we don't want to hear you sit up and talk about DWade the whole time. I said I'm gonna try to hold back, but I had to put my plug in there for DWade.
Well, you know what, man? It's the thing. DWade's about my age. He's probably about 2 years older than me, and I respect the hell out of DWade of what he was on the basketball court. I just think he's a clown as a human being. I won't go that far.
Here we go.
He's a clown as a man to me.
Lord, we won't talk about, but I'm a sports purist.
I'm about to bring it back.
Okay.
It's Bernard Riley says I'm about to land the plane. Okay. So as much as I don't take him serious as a man, I hold him in the highest regard as a player.
Yeah.
DWade was a dude that did not cheat basketball. He played hard. He came out of Marquette at the time. Marquette, not necessarily a basketball manufacturing program. Him and Jimmy Butler and there's another cat, I forget his name, but I respect everything DWade did for basketball. I really do. I really, 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 really do. And at one point I thought he was a threat to surpass Kobe, and I did not like that. But so I don't want to ever set a standard that just because I don't take him serious as a man, that I take anything away from him. Like when in year 3, shit, who can say they done that? And you can't say Shaq carried them. You can't say that DWade was going bonkers. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give him all the respect due. And I also give respect in this capacity where everybody say, oh, well, LeBron came and changed my life. DWade was holding it down for the Heat. When they had Michael Beasley, when they had Jamal McGlure, when they had Quinn, he played for Notre Dame. They had like Yatupi DeBar, like they had a horrible roster. DWade had him going. Jermaine O'Neal had come over when he was old. Like, so I don't let people disrespect DWade as far as on the court.
Yeah. No, of course, I agree with that. But and like I said, I'm a sports purist. In that I don't care what you do off the court, as long as you're not assaulting children and women and whatever, murdering people. Like,
why can't he be assaulting men? Why ain't that a problem?
Huh?
So why is not a problem him assaulting men?
Men? Oh, I guess.
Yeah, that's what y'all do, man. That's
You're right. Okay, that's all right. That's a good point. Okay. But I generally don't don't care what you do off the court. Like I
That's real.
could care less. Like
I'm the same way. That's
4
real.
quarters. So
I'm with you. All right, so Ghost got a question. Well, before that, shout out to my boy DJ Ron Cut. This is a gentleman almost single-handedly responsible for getting me my YouTube page popping when my Hoop Jargon members was not checking for your boy. That's okay though, man. Y'all slowly getting reeled in because y'all see I'm serious. So man, shout out to DJ Ron Cut, man. He's the cat who put me on, man. All right, so Ghost 07 says, Hoop Jargon, question to the panel. What moves are the Lakers gonna make in the offseason? Thoughts? You got anything on there, Holly? I know you're not a Lakers fan.
No, I'm not a Lakers fan, but I'm also not a LeBron hater anymore. I was for a few years.
Okay, you reformed, huh?
Yeah. I had to come to peace with that. But yeah, so I posed this question yesterday on my Instagram and Facebook and asking. And I think the best response that I got is if LeBron wants to win again. Now there are some people that are like, he's waiting on Bronny to get to league so he can play with Bronny, but that's
a long time, man.
Yeah. That's like, let's just
3 years
over here. But I think the best response I saw was that to restructure his contract. For LeBron to restructure his contract and try to get like some other pieces. Because at this point, I don't think you can rely on Anthony Davis. I mean, street clothes. I hate he's been given that nickname because I really like Anthony Davis as a player. But the track record for injury, I mean, and my favorite player was injury prone. So I just don't think you can keep all your eggs in that basket. Like, I just don't think you're not going to win again, not with that team. So yeah. And just like Justin, yeah, Kuzma, there's going to have to be some kind of restructuring that I think I saw where, who was it? Rob Pelinka was saying that he wanted to keep the core structure. It's not going to work.
What core? All these expiring contracts and short. What core are you talking about? LeBron and AB?
I guess so. I think it was Rob Pelinka. I think I saw it on SportsCenter this morning. But yeah,
well, here's my thing, man. I think Justin, you hit the nail on the head. Like, so Kyle Kuzma, I never was sold on. I'm not necessarily a Kyle Kuzma hater. I just think he's a filled up guy. I think you can get these kind of guys all the time. Like, he's a guy come off the bench, give you anywhere from 5 points on a bad night, and he mess around and give you 28. You know what I mean? You can't rely on him because the way I look at IQ matters to me. And I watch Kyle Kuzma play. He doesn't think basketball the right way, in my opinion. He looks to score first. He trusts his body more than his skill, which he's not particularly overly skilled either. But in Kyle Kuzma's mind, when I watch a guy like Kyle Kuzma, I think in his mind, he thinks he's as good as AD. I'm sure he's the kind of guy that goes every day, looks at AD, look at himself. They're about the same size. He's like, man, I could beat him. In his mind. So I just think guys like that, and this is kind of goes back to a discussion I had on DJ's page about a guy like Obi Toppin, where Obi Toppin didn't have the greatest rookie year, but you can see that he was a guy who would do anything it takes for the team to win. Yeah. And you need those kind of guys who have a quasi-limited skill set, like who I think a Kyle Kuzma is. So when you got guys like that, they better have the right mentality. If they don't, at some point you gotta cut ties with him, because what you're gonna start to do is you're gonna overpay him, and you're gonna be married to his contract, and you're gonna force him to be something he's not. Yeah. Kyle Kuzma reminds me of Eddie Griffin, man. And rest in peace, Eddie Griffin played for the Rockets when he came from Seton Hall, supposed to be the next guy, and we saw just not quite, but he still was given that reign like he was gonna be the next guy. And you could just see he didn't have it in him. And playing for the Timberwolves, and when he took a backseat to KG, that's when you start seeing him being what he really was as a player. You understand what I'm saying? But for the Rockets, he was supposed to be a franchise guy. Like, nah, he's not a franchise level player. So we bring out to say that, yeah, Lakers got to get rid of some dead weight. They're gonna have to get younger. I think at the end of the day, there's a 3-year window for LeBron to win. He won one, called the bubble. We'll actually talk about that next. It is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and nitpick that right now, but we got a championship in 3 years. At the end of the day.
What do you feel about Schroeder though? Because there was the story he wanted $100 million.
Schroeder gone, man.
In this NBA, I guess that's kind of
gone. He did the Colin Kaepernick thing. He bet on himself and he lost. Sorry. You bet on yourself and you lost. Schroeder could go, man. I like Schroeder. He's like a little baby Rondo to me, but nah, you bet on yourself and you lost. So they're not gonna pay you what you said because it's disrespectful how you went about it. But it's like if you do that, you better cash in. You didn't. Sorry.
I was like, what?
Sorry. You bet on yourself. I mean, that's the thing about betting on yourself. Nothing wrong with it, but that's just the.
It's a gamble, though.
It's a goddamn gamble. That's real talk, man. That's real talk, man. So Jason Simmons said, "What's up, DJ?" Yeah, man. So DJ supporters come to support my stream too. So that's what's up.
Okay.
All right. So Ghost got another question for us. Underrated pickup for the Lakers if they want to sign and trade Schroeder would be T.J. McConnell or Lonzo Ball, and a big man to pick up the market of Nerlens Noel for Lakers. Yeah, I like that low risk, medium reward of Nerlens Noel. I think that's a great line of thinking. T.J. McConnell, I'm with that. Lonzo Ball, I actually on that same stream, I was like, I want Lonzo to go to the Clippers, the Lakers, or the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even take the Bulls. One of those 4 teams I want Lonzo to go to because I think. If you really looked at how Lonzo Ball was improving, it would have been perfect what the Lakers are right now.
Yeah.
It's just that, because he just wasn't the first iteration. Like, we wanted Lonzo to be what Lamelo is right now.
Yeah.
And
right.
That's just, I always say this, guys, personalities matter. They think basketball 2 different ways. Lamelo Ball think of basketball how a Kobe is like, which one of y'all I'm going to fry today? Look, Lonzo is like, well, let me just get everybody involved and let's get the win. They're just 2 different kind of guys, man. So what do you think about this scenario, Holly?
I don't know much about T.J. McConnell, to be honest with you, but
That's
okay.
I do think focus on Lonzo.
I think,
That's okay. Just focus on Lonzo. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lonzo, I agree with you. We all had these high expectations of what we wanted him to be, and it's more like what we see from LaMelo now. And now I think he's kind of right where he needs to be. So I could see a move like that being really like advantageous to the Lakers if they wanted to do that. So that sounds like a good situation, I think.
Yeah, and let's be real, you can get him for relatively cheap, so he's not going to cash in like for his bag that he was probably slated to have from year 1 and year 2. You don't have to overpay him. At this point, you can get him in for a relatively reasonable price, in my mind.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So what's up, J&J? She said, "What up, Hoop and Holly? What's up, J&J?" She's the one who made my intro video. She made it nice and fluid because my last one was questionable.
I like that. I do have another question for you before we get into the bubble.
What you got?
In regard to Lamelo coming into the league and how he is, which I guess we kind of already assessed. There were everybody already kind of like was saying that he was the most talented. Even I guess his dad said that he was the most talented of the 3. But do you think that him and just what we've seen from like Luka that was overseas, do you think him going and kind of like being in the trenches overseas, especially Australia's a hard league, do you think that actually contributed to him being as good as we think he's going to be, or from what we've seen so far?
Absolutely. And I speak on this a lot, man. And on DJ's channel, he covers a lot of like the Big Baller brand. Well, I'm sorry, the Ball kids a lot with LaMelo and the Charlotte Hornets. In fact, and a lot of us have been preaching this forever. His path is what made him who he is.
Yeah.
He grew up at a young age. And so some people get caught up on age, like your numerical age, but your experience has a lot to do with it. And LaMelo had the benefit of playing professional level basketball. You can say it's a trash league. Okay, that's fine. But I tell people all the time, a trash overseas league got nothing on a high school league experience. Because let's keep it a beam. In a normal high school setting, you're probably playing 2 to 3, 4 or 5 teams in a whole year that's worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because they got one guy on their team who's somebody. Like, and so when people act like, because people just slated to think of normal stuff. Like, so normally, well, you got to go the traditional route. You playing against, because most people have no working knowledge about Lithuania. They know nothing about Australia. Well, you understand that those leagues are way stronger than your average high school district.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think that made him more mature. It made him understand more varied situations, how to work with grown men. and
Yeah.
how to lead grown men. So hell yeah, that gave him a hell of a leg up.
Yeah.
Just like Luka. It's like Luka playing in the best league, actually. Luka played in the ACB, which is the best league overseas. Somebody tell me I'm lying.
Yeah, but I'm with you on that. Like I think it just shows like his maturity, more strength. Yeah, it's totally different playing against high school kids than these grown ass men, like in these overseas leagues. Because I watched a lot of like Australia games, and they're serious. Like,
oh yeah,
it gets messy over there. So yeah,
they're physical. And they play the right way. So you remember the last with the Olympics showing that they play well. They play well. And the guys generally do okay. Andrew Bogut. What's that dude name played for the Rockets? David Anderson. Patty Mills. Ben Simmons. Like the Aussies can hoop, man. Aussies can hoop. I think Joe Ingles is from that league as well. Like, man, dudes can hoop. Dudes can hoop. All right, so Ghost says, Hoop Jargon, you think getting Buddy Hield and Jeremy Grant is realistic? Yeah, I think so. I think both are realistic. I think Buddy Hield thinks he's worth more than what he is. I think we're going to have to drop a bag on him. I don't think it's warranted, but I mean, we want shooters. He's a shooter. He's a sure shot too. So, I mean, that depends. I don't see it happening. I think, again, he's going to want more. Maybe he take a discount coming to the Lakers, but I know he's tired of losing. But we'll see. I mean, I don't really know his temperament like that, so I can't really speak with accuracy. But I would say in a perfect world, now it's a good acquisition, man. 2 times for J&J. Yes. J&J doing her thing, man. If y'all need those graphics, holler at J&J video, man. She got a thing. All right, Jason Zimmerman says, the most intriguing thing about the Ball brothers is that they always had their basketball IQ. Boy, if I would see, I gotta give me a soundboard. I'd be with that Jamaican did on point. Yes, IQ is out of control, man. You must speak to that about the brothers and their IQ. You want to speak to that about the Ball brothers and their IQ?
I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot of games that they played in to really be able to speak on their IQ. I know that I've been overall impressed with what Melo's been doing. I haven't watched a lot of Lonzo. I just know that I think he's getting in where he fits in at this point, and he's evolved. He's kind of evolved into his what kind of player he's going to be.
Yeah, no. So he has. So Lonzo has been, all the things they said he couldn't do, he's able to do now with fluidity. They say he can't shoot. 2 solid years of shooting, so you can scratch that. Yeah. He's also getting some mid-range action. You can attack the basket a little more, but yeah, man. So he's basically, IQ has been there. It ain't going nowhere, but he's putting like that tough part of his game together that Lamelo has kind of had naturally. So that's kind of what's going on with the brothers. I mean, you've been watching Lamelo, so you know what's up. So, all right. So let's see. Next question is, that overseas experience taught Melo how to be a pro and handle himself in the press. He's been ready. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, LaMelo used to be very immature. So if you watch him like he's like 15, 16, very immature kid. And that's where I guess the spoiled prognostications came from. It's like, oh man, he spoiled. His dad got him a Ferrari at 16 and blah, 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 blah. But if you look at the older kids weren't disrespectful. They never talked out of pocket.
No,
so
not at all.
It was a matter of time. Yeah. It was a matter of time before he got right. I mean, 16-year-olds rebellious, man. This is what they are.
A lot of people were penalizing them based off the persona of their father. So for sure. That's what people do though. When people don't understand, they try to make their own narrative. And so if you remember, they saying the father, he ruined the kid's life. He took him away from Chino Hills and got him playing the JBA. He playing Lithuania. And my thing is like, dude, who are you to tell a man what to do with his damn sons when he's already raised an NBA kid to start off with? Yeah. And there's always more than one way to go about things.
No. Well, Holly, let's keep it a bean. You got a kid. How frequent is it that a guy can shot call 2 kids in the NBA? 3 if you want to get technical. Now, LaGello got cut. But come on, let's be for real now. Can you shot call that type of NBA success?
No.
How much can you really control with your kids' development?
Right. No, he willed them. I feel like a lot of it he willed them, and he built them. He gave them that confidence. You won't ever hear me say anything bad about LeVar Ball.
Well, no, I mean, and I'm not even trying to force you. I'm just saying, like, and I talk about this with my girl all the time. It's like, yo, kids generally meet expectations. If you hold them to high expectations, they generally meet it. Even your C student level kid was like, okay, well, this is just normal. And the discussion was about high school graduations where like some people just go nuts about it. And I'm like, that's cool. You're proud of your kid. But when you set the standard that, oh, high school is just like, that's the lifetime achievement. You set the bar relatively low about succeeding at a certain level because you think, oh, shit, I made it. High school graduation is it? Like, no. Because then this reminds me like in India with like tiger parents. It's like, you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, you nothing else. Engineer, tech, that's it.
Yeah.
If you fail to meet this, you're a failure. And I know in the residual of that is some people who feel like, you know, they may get depressed if they don't make it. But the inverse is they have a lot of successful people that come out of that structure because they set the bar high for expectation.
Oh, I agree.
And so you can hate it or love it. The underdog's on top now. But you can hate it or love it. But the results, the proof is in the pudding, man. So you have to hold your kids to high standards. And then, of course, you should tweak it based on what you see their aptitude is. But that's what LeVar's did. And you can't tell me somebody has raised top 3 picks in a 4-year span? Like, come on, man. That's nuts, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, I agree.
That's nuts. All right, so Rap God says, does LeBron losing in the first round impact his legacy? You want to attack that first?
Oh, man. You cannot – nobody wins alone. Let's say number one, nobody wins alone.
Okay.
Let's face it. Without AD, LeBron's alone out there, okay? So, no, it doesn't impact his legacy. This guy – this is 18 years, right? 18 years in the league. He has 4 MVPs, four championships. I know you want to put an asterisk by one. And no, absolutely not. Nobody wins alone.
Yeah, and so I'm with that. Because my opinion, LeBron don't really change from what it's always been, which is he's probably about top 5 at best overall. I think he just passed Larry Bird with the bubble championship. This impacts his world to, again, the slow ones who think like everything is in a 1-year vacuum. So basically when he wins, he did on 3 different teams. We lost. Oh, no. So people who go the polar opposites, yes, this is a huge indictment on the arguments y'all make because the arguments was that Michael Jordan lost 3 times in the first round and LeBron never lost in the first round. So now that takes away from this bullshit talking point y'all had. So, yeah, it does. But to people who are astute who just – take the emotional aspect out because LeBron ain't your favorite or LeBron is the greatest thing that ever walked this earth. Yeah, it does. So it's just the real operative thing is where does your logic rank players in the first place? So if you're being sensible, no, not really. It doesn't really affect much. I think we all can understand injuries was a culprit here. But that same faction that wants to disavow that and say, hey, like, that's nothing, y'all act like other players' injuries don't matter. Y'all act like other contributions of players don't matter. Like when AD was going nuts last year, y'all act like it was just LeBron. So, yeah, the inverse is you don't get the benefit of the doubt this year either. So that's how I would say it's a very nuanced yes and no on that one.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. And LeBron is like, to me, at least in the past, 10 years, he's the most polarizing player. So you either love him or hate him. Like, I feel like, I mean, I know you're saying, I know you're not a LeBron guy, but you're objective at least about it. And I think that I'm objective about it at this point since I got over my anger. But I think he's just extreme. I think I've never seen a more polarizing like player that has like all of this whole resume and people will still turn around and be like, no, he's trash. Like, what? Yeah.
That's just too much. Now, I used to be that kind of guy. I ain't gonna front. Like when he lost 2011, I was boy, that was like the best moment of my life when I was a LeBron hater. Now I'm just not a fan.
I was hurt.
Well, you're a Larry fan. I get it. See, I was mad because the Mavericks dusted us off like the damn, dust in the corner, man, of the room. I was like, damn, we got fucking swept by the Mavericks. Like, what?
I was hurt.
What the hell? So yeah, so I understand the hurt. All right, question, Justice Singleton posts. How do guys feel about fathers like LeVar Ball and Master P being so involved in their kids' basketball careers? I think it's an excellent thing. I mean, Listen, man, kids need an advisor, man. Because here's the reality of it. In this society that we have, we are so open to just give credit to a single mother raised kid. And nothing wrong with that. But when we act like the father has no role in this kid's development, that's a problem. Let me give you an example. So when Zion Williams got drafted, he had a stepfather that was present for most of his life. They focused on the mother. And like, okay, she deserved credit for having a boy who was upstanding, exceptional, great athlete and all that. But the dude who stepped in as a kid that's not his, he don't deserve no credit. Shaq, for example, his stepfather stepping in, the military guy, to help cultivate that talented Shaq, he got a little credit. I will acquiesce that, but a lot was just Shaq's mom. Like, and so it just, it's unfortunate of how guys who are hands-on, like let's go Richard Williams with Serena and Venus. It's funny how, like, I guess when you speak fluidly like a man, the media don't really want to hear what you got to say. It's either like, it's like you seen but not heard, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to, being a man. But when it's the woman like Kevin Durant mama, like Draymond Green mother, girl, you go, girl, you come on and you show them. Because you remember when KD mama come on the show and Stephen A. Smith, I'm sorry, mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. When LeVar Ball come on there, you crazy, LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
You get where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Yeah, so I did get your point. You almost lost me, but okay.
No, I'm always bringing it back to what's feasible to everybody to understand. So when I see a guy who speaks authoritatively, like, you need that, boys need that shit. Boys need a man to speak to them authoritatively.
They do. They do.
Let's be real. Let's be real. So when I see that, I love when guys like that get the accolade because they did their job. And not only did they do their job being their child's life, they did their job by guiding their child. Because when the guys say, I was there, nigga, you supposed to be there. Who cares about that part? Are you leading them somewhere? And when guys lead their kids somewhere, that should be celebrated at all times. Or just acknowledged. I mean, I'm not for like, you got to throw a parade for a dad doing what he's supposed to do, but you should give him his props. That's what I feel. So when I see Pete getting that bag for his youngest son, Hersey, because I don't think you know about that story, Holly, but he got a $1 million deal for his kid already from once the players can get paid off their likeness. He got that already set for his kid that's about to go to Tennessee State.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Like, so yeah, you should normalize guys doing well for their kids instead of leaving their kids with debt, with mental anguish, with all this crap. So I think, yeah, man, to me, that's all good. Go ahead.
I love to see it. No, I think you can look at other players, and it's not true of all players. Again, like, I don't think DWade was a victim of this with issues with like his upbringing, but like LeBron, I think it definitely shows in a lot of ways, like that his dad wasn't around. So
let's go further than that. LeBron James' mother was a chronic fuck up. Like, I don't think you went to Gloria James's file. Like, she breaking in people's houses, stealing shit, messing with his teammate.
Oh, well, of course we know about. We all remember that.
So he won in despite of his mother. Like, so, and I wouldn't even disrespect KD or Draymond's mother to compare to Gloria James. Like,
yeah, no. Yeah.
It's a good thing that they got her out the way. Let me put it that way. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. That's all I'm saying. I think that it's a two-way street. So the fathers definitely have a positive impact, can have a positive impact, and them not being there has a negative impact. So obviously the answer is yes. Somebody like a LeVar Ball and Master P are instrumental in their kids' success. And we need more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there probably is a lot of, and there probably is plenty of instances of it. But of course, in the society we live in, we're only gonna focus on the messed up situations and the fathers that weren't there. And yeah, we're gonna focus on the mothers that must have, elevated their child through these difficult circumstances. So
that's the polarization, like to your point. And I just think people just think past that a little bit because they push it to you for a reason. And then, we'll leave that be. But yeah. Let's see. Let's catch up on some of these comments. LeBron Nash says Marshall Nash says LeBron top 4 all time. That's not. I'm not mad.
Marshall. He hates on LeBron every chance he gets.
He's a fellow Laker fan with me, so I get it. A Kobe Laker fan, as y'all like to call him. So
no, he's a Steph Curry fan. That's all.
Oh, is he? Oh, he on Steph now?
He is Steph Curry fan, yeah.
I got you. All right. So Rap God says, do you believe the 2 Ball brothers who were drafted top 3 are polarizing? Oh yeah, because he is Lamelo and Lonzo are basically living, breathing, walking offshoots of LeVar.
Yeah.
So no matter what they're doing, and no matter how you feel about them, you tend to want to evaluate them by proxy to make a shot at LeVar. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because you can't touch the dad, who else are you gonna touch? The next one in line. Yeah. All right, JJ says salute RGR. Salute. Yep. Yeah, Marsh, he is a Kobe Bryant fan. I do remember that. He said he's Steph Curry number 2. All right, good question. Justin Singleton said, I think it's funny how LeBron creates a way out of a caveat of essentially loses. I can go in on this. I want you to go first. I know what I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah. So again, I'm kind of in the middle. I feel like I'm objective about LeBron, but he definitely creates his own narratives about situations. He, like when he posted that, because I made a big deal out of the post that it was like some kind of stat platform or something had posted, and it compared him to other people and where he fell. And he was basically saying he didn't get enough credit. LeBron is always creating his own story. But I can't imagine what it is like to have that type of pressure put on me, and then to always be my almost entire career. Well, we'll say his career when he left Cleveland, to be scrutinized every single day, and you're compared every single day. So while it's irritating to me, and I think it's soft, and I think it kind of shows his lack of mental toughness, I also get why he does it.
Okay, and I'll accept that. The higher the profile, the more the scrutiny. That is, that goes without saying. I do think that a lot of his scrutiny is contrived off of what he does to start the swell of love. And here's what LeBron has done classically. LeBron James sets the margins for failure. So if something's going wrong, there's a precursor for it. So whether he outrightly says it, his minions will do it for him. Like when they lost against the Warriors that last time, I basically prayed with a broken hand. So now you got dudes like Shannon Sharp going on their blow. Yeah, I noticed he was laboring on the left when he was trying to finish. Yeah, I knew there was something wrong. So then the slow ones go in and repeat this message. And LeBron knows what he's doing. He's to me, he isn't a intelligent guy per se, but he's smart. He knows the art of media manipulation. Now on the basketball court, highly intelligent. Like I wouldn't put nobody above him, not named Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas. He's in that ilk of guys, just like highly intellectual. As far as other shit, not so much. If you listen to LeBron James talk about politics, like just listen to his words. When you ask him stuff, where I just feel like we all gotta come together and things messed up, under the Donald Trump. He got nothing to say. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where your overall intellect comes in. So I know that he's not intelligent, but I do know he's smart. As far as business acumen, he knows how to put the right people in the right spots, and he knows what to do. Yeah. So in that capacity, LeBron James knows whoever he is in his camp told him a long time ago of how people think and how to put messages out there and how they'll receive it. Because he's been doing it forever. Like to Kevin Love, that time he did that subliminal message on IG, he always does that. So it's like when he does it, it's like, yep, I expected it. I saw that coming. He's on. What they say, tigers don't change their stripes, and that is LeBron James to the T to me. because he's my age. So I can look at him as a peer as far as intellectually. Like, I know what you're doing, bro. Like, you 36, I'm 37. I know how people my age think. And so when I see him, it's like, it doesn't even surprise me, though. I laugh because he always puts it out there. Like we said at that time when he had the whole roster overhaul when he brought in DWade. Oh, we just top heavy as shit. So basically meaning they have no bench. So then that was an excuse to lose later. Like, that's what he does. That's what he does.
No, I do agree. I do agree with you. I do.
That's what he does. And so Rap God says LeBron sets himself up for scrutiny every time Bron says was like Shannon Sharp make up artificial narratives. Well, yeah. It's a part of the machine, though. Like, you gotta have. I mean, if you're gonna have that high profile, again, I don't want to undermine that it's hard what he does. To Holly's point, it's hard. It's hard to be the 13th guy on the bench and be ready to go. So think about being the best for such as long as LeBron has been. It's not an easy seat to sit in. However, when you start to try to contrive things, I'm gonna call you on your shit.
Yeah. No, and in regard to Shannon Sharp does exactly what he's supposed to do. And he secures his job every time he goes in there and puts on that goat mask or goes off and says and has these sound bites. He is securing his job. I had somebody criticize me one day because this was probably right before they started doing the play-in. And because I made a post about LeBron. I made the post about him posting the stats with all the other players. They're like, why are you even talking about this right now? Because people want to talk about this. That is exactly where the attention is. That is where the money is. LeBron James is so polarizing that, and Michael Jordan, Kobe, you bring up their names, it is automatic gold no matter what. So Shannon Sharp serves his purpose. LeBron James serves. I mean, it's a, would you call it a machine, or that's exactly what it is.
The go along, get along, as my boy Kwame Brown would say, man. Shout out to Kwame Brown, man. He went scorched earth on the media game, and it's been a fun ride watching that shit. I ain't gonna lie.
I actually had no idea that he had such a messed up like upbringing and like family life and all of that. And now it kind of makes sense. Like now, and I'm actually surprised that it took this long to sort of boil over once I learned all those things about him.
Yeah, I mean, one of my teammates in college, man, he's from Charleston, which is I don't think that's far from Moncks Corner. Like, he was like, man, I ain't never going back to Chucktown, man. Like, shout out to my boy Johnny Cobb, man. He was just like, because he was a crazy one on the team, about 6'8". Now he had them little braid dreads. He looked like a typical South Carolina dude. Hilarious dude, man. Johnny Cobb was so funny. He's like, he told like this, man. Hey, man. He introduced me to Lil Boosie, man. That's back when I didn't even know who Lil Boosie was at all. That's all he would listen to. This is like 2007. Like, nobody knew who Lil Boosie was if you weren't from, like, Louisiana. And so, man, yeah, Johnny's talking about, man, I ain't never going back to Chucktown. Like, man, it's like, y'all think I'm crazy, man. Them dudes over there, like, y'all have no clue. You know what I'm saying? And I remember he used to always say that. And then so hearing that, Charlemagne and where Kwame is from, that's, again, I don't think that's too far away. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting people who come out of there, man. Cause like, y'all know the Geechee and the Gullah, lineage. That was like one of the first landing spots of like, slaves. I guess the most, you would say their bloodline's most pure with like original slaves or what have you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they have a very deep spiritual aspect to them, and they definitely are very passionate people. Let me put it that way. Let's keep it delicate, but yeah, man. So when I heard that, it all makes sense because most of us, we never knew who Kwame Brown was. I mean, we obviously know who he is, but I didn't know he had a voice. Like, I ain't never heard him talk
at all.
Yeah, so when he came scorched earth like that, I was like, God damn. I'm here for it though. So yeah, shout out to Kwame, man, for real. All right, let's see. AB the Hero said, shout out to Hoop Jargon Reels in the game. Appreciate you, AB. That's another big baller brand insider right there, man. AB was one of the announcers for the JBA League. He was on the road doing stuff with Big Baller Brand on the JBA tour. Nice. So yeah, man, appreciate AB, man. Always showing love to the channel, man. That's what's up, man. All right, so to your questions, to your comment rather, Marsha says most of that's fake. They read from a script. What do you think about that? You think those talking heads that they doing?
So I think they do have some notes, of course, that they follow, just like they have the stats on hand. They already know their talking points. They already know which side they're going to fall in. I mean, but the only one I would say I think is mostly off scripted of the shows is probably Inside the NBA. I think they're a little more off the cuff. But yeah, like I said, they have a purpose to serve. Skip Bayless, we know he's Cowboys, Spurt, Kawhi Leonard. Like we know, Clippers. I'm sorry, Clippers now. Kawhi Leonard, and that's his role. We know Shannon Sharp is LeBron. Like it's just that's their role, and it works every single time.
Yeah, there you go. And here's the thing: they go with whatever works. Mm-hmm. So y'all remember Michael Smith and what's her name? Jamel Hill had the thing going when they were they were leading the ESPN 6, and they was like going real hard with the Kaepernick thing, and you could tell it's contrived. I mean, like they were there for that reason, and I think the ratings showed that people didn't want to see, and that's why they got removed. But yeah, I mean, you see, there's always an agenda, like that they go with what they think the viewers want, and if viewers still want it, they'll leave it. If viewers don't want it, they're gonna make some reason why we gotta part ways and move on to bigger and better, whatever they want to package it as. That's what we see irrefutably. So if Shannon ever stepped out of line, if Stephen A ever stepped out of line, you're gonna see that same type of wave, man, because the media game is very much contrived, man. So, and it's important for people, us in this independent media, like we serve no master, like we're our own bosses. It's important that we get our words out here because, those people we follow, now there may be some of their own like realistic sentiments, but overall, you got to report to somebody, man. That's just real. Yeah,
I completely agree.
All right, so I'll let you start on this one first. So how you guys feel about the Naomi Osaka pulling out of the French Open with her anxiety dealing with the international press? How you feel about that?
I mean, we live in a very mental health aware society now. That's obviously been a hot topic. And it's hard for me. I mean, I'm not a professional athlete. I did play tennis in high school, but it's hard to put yourself in somebody like that shoes. And she's very young. I mean, I don't know how many years that she's been pro, but she's pretty young. And so it's hard to put myself in her shoes. As a sports fan, I'm like, come on. Like, if you can't deal with this, then how are you going to go out there and compete? Like, get some mental toughness about yourself. And I hate saying that, having struggled with mental health issues myself. But as a sports fan, I'm like, I don't really care. I know it sounds really bad, but
it sounds really real to me because here's the thing, man. Again, it does not matter what you feel, it's what the world is. In any capacity, we can apply this to anything in life. You feel like you should have a better job. You feel like you should have a better spouse. You feel like you should have a better socioeconomical situation. That's cool. But the world is what it is. So me, the consumer, I'm watching sports. I don't give a shit about your extra stuff. I want to consume what you put out because you get paid above the average person to do a task.
Yes.
Now, I understand you feel marginalized because of that. I get that. No problem. Stop playing tennis. Go get a job. You have less stress. Use that brain God gave you and go get a job. You don't have to play professional sports. You don't have to. You just happen to be good enough to do it, which is very much that's a compliment to what you've achieved. But you don't have to play it. That was that dude who played NFL for 3 years and became a doctor because that's what his passion was.
Right.
Prince Akamawara, what his name was? Mm-hmm. I forget his name, but you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. What's that dude who was an actor? I caught him working at Whole Foods and they trying to shame him. Dude was on the Cosby Show.
Face from
damn. He was Elvin on the Cosby Show. I forget his name.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like, go work. Be a regular worker. If Hollywood ain't for you no more, go work. If somebody want to shame you, so what?
Andrew Wiggins doesn't like playing basketball. Just go do something else.
You said who now?
Who is it? Wiggins. Wiggins, he doesn't like playing basketball.
Andrew Wiggins?
Yeah.
Don't play. You don't have to play. You don't have to play. So when I see that, I want to acknowledge that anxiety is real. I've had about 2 or 3 anxiety attacks in my life. It was not fun. And my latest one was me on the sales floor at a very high-strung sales situation, and I had an anxiety attack, like in me of all people. I couldn't move. I was like, what the fuck? But I didn't quit after that. I stuck it out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't quit. I didn't want nobody to take pity on me. I just had to work through it.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
I could be like, oh, well, I don't want that again. I can't do a job like this that pays so well. Okay, now I can go back to teaching like I did before. Less stress. I mean, it can get stressful at times, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have options. So if you choose to still play the game, that's your choice.
Yeah. Most of us don't have the luxury to be able to sit there and say, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm my anxiety. I'm gonna clock out.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop making these millions now because it ain't worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cry me a goddamn river, man. Again, I don't want to dismiss mental health because that obviously is a prevalent thing in this world. But if you have mental health and you have options past that, you need to exercise other options. If it's that debilitating to you, exercise different options.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I'm unapologetic. Like I say this all the time, I don't feel too sorry for millionaires, man. I really don't, because there's other things you can do and be nice and perfectly mentally healthy, upright. Yeah, you don't have to play professional sports if it's too much for you. You don't have to do it. Ricky Williams left professional sports several times because of that shit. I don't begrudge him for it. I wish he'd have stayed and played, but I mean, he did what's for him. No problem.
Yeah.
She made to go do what's for her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so question 9 days in line. And so I don't know how much time we got, Holly, but we'll answer a few more. You know, I don't want to hold your whole day up. So we'll answer a few more and then we'll rock out. So appreciate y'all, man. Y'all like this stream.
We haven't talked about the bubble.
So here's the thing with these things, that they get wild, man. So the conversation goes where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the conversation goes where it goes, man. So one thing I appreciate, but yeah, we can break off and go bubble after this if we want to do that. All right, so Stephen A. Smith or Skip ever thought anything about basketball during the so has Stephen A. or Skip ever thought anything about, you gotta rephrase that one, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. What is your opinions about Serena Williams' comment about having thick skin? You want to attack that one first?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes back, and there are different mentalities, just like how we were talking about LeBron has a different mentality than like a DWade, or, you know, I think it comes to your, you know, I don't know what her upbringing is. She could have a very stable home and so forth. But she's also a lot younger than Serena Williams. Serena Williams is not a spring, you know, chicken anymore. So I think that it's a different generation. And so I think our generation was more built for like most of us were raised by, well, I know my mom's a baby boomer. So that they have like the strongest work ethic, and, you know, you don't make excuses. You just, you do what you're supposed to do. And I think the younger generation is just not built like that. And so I understand Serena's comments, and that's part of the reason she's been so successful.
What would you say specifically?
I think I just saw it come across this. I think she did say something about, basically just having a thicker skin. She kind of, I guess, thought that it wasn't, you know, relevant. Maybe I don't want to miss.
I got it.
So.
Well, I just find it funny because Serena Williams has made excuses about her being black. She's made excuses about her being a woman before. So I find that rich that she's going that angle. I get it, man. We're complex beings. And y'all saw people, we're not a monolith and all that shit. But I understand it, man. We got our moments when we're tougher than normal. Serena Williams is a what I would call a habitual excuse maker too. But I'm gonna give her her benefit of doubt on this situation. And you do have to have thick skin being a professional athlete. I mean, that really goes without saying. You have to be able to take scrutiny that the normal Tom, Dick, and Harry couldn't imagine. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm not mad at the idea. I just know Serena Williams has done that victim shit before too. She yelled at that real, because I'm a black woman. Shut your ass up. So, practice what you preach, man. If that's what you said, practice what you preach, goddamn. And that's all I got to say out there. Yes, True the King says, salute Hoop Jargon and Holly, man. Salute, homie. Y'all make sure y'all. So you have your YouTube channel up?
I haven't really added to it lately. Consistency has not been my thing with
Do you have one though?
Stuff. But yeah, I do have a YouTube. It's Holly Heat Sports, and you should be able to just type it in the search bar, Holly Heat Sports on YouTube, and it should come up. So I do need to be more consistent with adding content to that. And when I do my show, YouTube will be the one of the platforms I put it on.
Yeah, you should, man, because people will check your stuff out. I think most people understand nobody's page is perfect. There's a lot of things you got to do. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's hard out here in these streets.
For sure.
All right, 9 days, Victor. Okay, he said, has Stephen A. or Skip ever taught anyone anything about basketball? I wouldn't see where the expertise will come to teach.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Stephen A. played at Winston-Salem State, but he didn't really play. Water Pistol Pete Bayless, he didn't really play in this school of Oklahoma as Jalen Rose is laid out. So I doubt that there's an opportunity to really teach. I mean, Stephen A. can probably teach you about the history of the New York Knicks. He seems very well versed in that space. Also with the career of Allen Iverson, he's good at that. But as far as overall basketball, all I hear him say words is box office, superstar, bust. He stays with the generic jargon, as it were, of sports reporting. So I don't think that's a lot of teaching involved with the way he talks basketball. But that's just the way I see it. Rough rider. He uses all these terms that I never really hear nothing technical from Stephen A. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I don't even think that's the purpose they serve, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. At one point, I used to try to hold them to that standard, but once I learned what the purpose of the one, I don't really trip off that. That's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more, then we out of here. Do you guys think that some players play better in the bubble? TJ Warren, Tyler Hero, the Miami Heat as a staff, organization, and a crew. KCP. Do we need to keep going?
Oh man. No,
So,
And what the reason is, maybe it was just having more control, more focus. I'm not sure what, maybe you have some insight as to what the reason is, but wow. Yeah, it's amazing to see like the stark difference.
Oh yeah. And I would guess the control of that is the Suns. The Suns, if you remember, didn't lose a game in the bubble. And I made a video about that in the moment. I was like, the Suns should have rolled around saying bubble champions because that franchise was garbage. So you need something to hang your hat on. But them being successful this year, they did add Chris Paul. So we do need to say that. So Chris Paul is consistently good in the bubble and good right now in the Suns. So that's the control variable. But the other ones, I think some of the Lakers played out their minds. Like I said, TJ Warren playing out his mind, the Heat, especially Tyler Hero, Duncan playing out their mind. So the bubble, to me, what I see with that is guys, y'all got to understand, depth perception is big in basketball. Meaning you know where your spots are on the court. And in a control setting like the bubble, it's a lot easier. So you're not traveling. You don't have all these things that hinder your focus or hinder your body's recognition of courts. So playing that bubble, it's like an AAU tournament. It's a glorified AAU tournament. So I think that may have had some adverse effect on what you saw as a product for some players. That's for sure. All right, J&J, shout out J&J once again. Really curious to know you guys' opinion on the question I asked a couple of minutes ago. What was that question again? Go and run that back for us, sis. All right, I grew up 15 minutes from Winston-Salem State University. Ain't no legend around there.
Ain't no legend around there. Damn.
I'll leave it at that. He said, y'all crack me up. Let's see. Heat should have taken the Harden deal. They thought Hero was going to be the next coming. Yep, you blew it. You blew it. That was your chance. Tyler Hero might be a great player down the line, but you don't pass on James Harden at this stage of his career where he still got about 3 or 4 good years for hopefully Tyler Hero being, y'all got tricked by that bubble.
I hate to see it.
Hate to see it. The bubble doesn't count, then the Patriots chip don't count. KC had many linemen out due to COVID. Well, I think you're thinking about not the Patriots, the Bucks. I think that was a caveat, man, with the COVID protocol, with them linemen out for the Chiefs. I think that was suspect. Let me say that. And everybody joined Tom Brady. Like, he got Leonard Fournette to come over, Antonio Brown. Damn, it's somebody else I'm forgetting. What's it?
Obviously, Gronk.
Gronkowski come out of retirement. Who?
Yeah.
70% Gronkowski is better than damn near 80% of the league at tight end. Let's be frank about this. They had another running back. Was it LaShawn McCoy? Came over too. So yeah, man, it's yeah. I personally don't respect it all the way, but I think history will probably let it ride. What you think?
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would love to not respect it, but I'm not well versed in it enough to be able to disrespect it.
That's fair.
I would love to illegitimize Tom Brady championship like I do the other ones.
Only one I illegitimized that first one when this dude didn't throw a touchdown. They scored 4 field goals or some shit like that and won the Super Bowl. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Nah. I'm not giving Tom Brady credit for that shit. But other than that, be pretty hard pressed to hold him back. All right, last question. J&J Video says, do you think the NBA will allow anyone to monopolize the Ball brothers? And if so, what team do you think that would be? As far as allowing it, I don't see why not. NBA is an entertainment league. I tell people all the time.
They would love that, actually.
Hell yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Love that.
The team, you would have to be whatever owner wanted to take that kind of chance. Because there would be backlash, which would affect. And so here's the thing: NBA teams have a board of things to lay out. That's why they pay all these guys $200K plus a year. So a lot of y'all think that these moves are just strictly feelings based, and it's just not true. The player of operations guy got to talk to the GM. The GM got to talk to the owners. Owners got to talk to the special advisors. That's how a whole 1 to 5 year plan comes for an NBA franchise. It's not just, the owner says do it and we do it. That's not quite the case. A lot of owners are hands off. So with that being said, you'd have to break norms and protocols to get that going. I would say a ailing franchise will probably take that project on. I would, in my mind, I would love a traditional team to do that, but it's probably not realistic. So is it possible? Yeah. Do I see it happening? Not until they get older. Yeah. But I would love to see all 3 brothers out there, man, and just test LeVar's thesis. You put them all together. How's that look? I ain't got nothing against that.
Same.
Caleb and Cody Martin, but both 2 brothers on the same team. Aaron and I forget the other brother name, the middle brother. Holiday, like Drew Holiday's younger 2 brothers, both play for the Pacers. It has precedent. Who's that?
The Morris twins.
Morris twins have played well, I think they pllayed opposite of LA.
No. I didn't say they played together. Sorry, I thought we were just
okay. Yes, I'm talking about on the actual same team. Another example.
No.
Another brothers on the same. When he first got drafted, Giannis and Theonis. No, a few years ago, 2 years ago, Giannis and Theonis played on the same team. So it's not unprecedented to have 2 brothers. So I mean, you had a 3rd brother. That's not really going too far out of the realm of possibility.
It sounds like TV ratings to me.
Entertainment-based league, just saying. So yeah, man.
For sure.
So we got this. All right, so Holly, man, anything you want to plug before we get out of here, man? I think this is a great discussion. I think the people like you. This is, people were live more than usual. So that's what's up. Okay. Anything you got to add before we peace out?
I will have my show coming. I'm just working on production right now, but definitely follow me on Instagram. I try to post as much sports content, and I'm trying to have more interactive posts on Instagram, the Holly Heat on Instagram, Holly Heat on Facebook, And I try to post as much sports content as I post bikini pictures. So I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to diversify here, y'all.
So if y'all want to see some Woody, go over there, man, to Holly page. That's what she basically said. So yeah, so all right. So man, appreciate you, Holly. And so appreciate y'all being so active in the chat, man. And so if y'all not subscribed to the page, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all please hit that subscribe bell to Hoop Jargon. It helps out a lot. I'm almost monetized. I'm like at 824, I think. I'm getting there. So I think this interview being so popular will add to that for sure. And as we go out, I gotta let J&J's video take us to glory.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Shout out to
Hoop Jargon.